The Resistance base is open, and that means it is time for the Resistance broadcast. Welcome back, everybody. My name is John Hoey. Thank you so much for joining us on this Monday. We appreciate you joining us and being a part of the Resistance. We have a fun show in store for you today. News is a little light, as it has been the past few weeks, but as always, we are going to give you an hour of awesome Star Wars talk, so we are glad that you are aboard with us here today. Joining me, as always, James Bainey and Lacey Gillerin. Guys, news is light, but Star Wars is great any way you slice it. How you guys doing?
You know what isn't light? The amount of French toast I ate before I got on this podcast. 4 slices.
4
just
slices?
For dinner, yeah. I added cinnamon to the mix, stirred it up, had some French toast, put some syrup on the top, the tippy top, little butter. It was delicious. What did you have for dinner, Lacey?
I actually skipped dinner tonight, but I have to say that having breakfast for dinner is excellent.
That's the best thing.
Choice.
Yeah.
The only time Lacey and I ever got together to eat, we had breakfast for dinner, I think.
We did, and it was wonderful. Yeah. And I didn't eat my food because I talked too much.
No? Yes? No?
We were going to go to Denny's, but we both agreed that Denny's sucks. So we went to a local diner instead.
And there goes our Solo 2 promotional giveaway.
Sorry,
dude, we would have promoted it better than Denny's, that's for sure. Look what happened when Denny's promoted that movie.
Oh, no.
Hey, man,
John.
I wanted the firecracker burger. Whatever it was.
Yeah, I didn't have any of that menu.
Hyperdrive hot dog.
Well, anyway, I'm excited to talk about Star Wars, so...
Our poll results this week is, what did you guys have for dinner? No, I'm kidding. We said there is a lot of Star Wars content coming next year, and out of these 3, which are you most excited about? And people were like, how come there's not a choice for all of them? Just pick which one you're the most excited about, okay?
How dare you make them choose?
The results were 67%, so more than 2/3 of you out there are most excited about Star Wars Episode 9, 18% for The Mandalorian, and picking up the rear, The Return of the Clone Wars. Guys, I thought Episode 9 would run away with this, so I'm not shocked there. But it's just weird seeing the Clone Wars down at the bottom there. But it is against 2 tough choices. What do you guys think?
I think you're exactly right. That's why Clone Wars. I'm actually surprised Mandalorian isn't higher. That's the one I voted for. And the reason is because I understand Episode 9, everybody's hyped. They've already kind of seen a little bit. It's like getting the first half and now needing the second half when we don't know anything about that other story. You know, how is anybody really that excited for what Benioff and Weiss is doing other than speculation? We don't really know that much about Mandalorian. But Mandalorian has 10 hours of content. That's 5 movies, and I don't know. That to me is just what is absolutely awesome about The Mandalorian. Just how much there's going to be. It's all going to be delivered. It's all going to be one through story planned out. It's not going to do what, not that it's a bad thing, but it's not going to do what, 7, 8, and 9 are doing, where it's like, well, I'll do 3 episodes, then you can take it and run with whatever way you want to do it, which would be crazy. Lacey, why is The Mandalorian only at 18%?
Because I voted for Episode 9 at 67%, and my vote is more important than your vote.
Whoa! These votes are weighted? Who's paying for that?
Let's be honest. Star Wars started in movies. That's its main medium. That's what everybody wants to see. And everybody wants to see what happens to Kylo Ren. Thus, Episode 9, 67%.
Yeah, and our best comment went to the guy who inspired one of our recent discussions last Thursdays, I think.
It's Simi.
Ryan Sime, the Simi guy at Ryan Scott. He said Episode 9 has the... Now this is such a deep...
Did you catch that? That was good, James. That was good.
So this is pretty deep here, but he said Episode 9 has the potential to deliver something so epic for the entire franchise. We could be talking about it and its ramifications for years.
Yes, it could.
He's right.
Did you see my response to that?
I didn't. No,
I wrote him back and I said...
I've actually muted you.
James has been muted?
I wrote him back and I said, sounds like The Last Jedi.
I know. People are still talking about it because
Something
it's awesome.
so epic to enter the franchise that we could be talking about its ramifications for years.
Speaking of ramifications, some stuff got stolen recently, and we have to talk about it. So, while there's not a lot of content-based news going on in the world of Star Wars, there's still news because stuff is happening. So, time to fire up that Resistance report. James, what is missing, literally, in Star Wars right now?
It's the Resistance.
Larceny, thievery, stolen property off the set of The Mandalorian. This is an interesting story. I don't think in near history that we've had something like this with Episode 7 or Episode 8. Not that I could think of, but
well, James, they just stole our hearts.
They just stole our hearts. That's it. Only everybody's hearts. We're all gonna die now.
Oh man.
Yeah, we had a story come up here via theblast.com that some equipment, highly expensive equipment, as it was put, was stolen off the set of The Mandalorian. And as they went into the details, it turns out that it was like in the camera department, and there could be some like hard drives or memory cards that were stolen. And this all kind of points to, the camera crew, and possibly, if it is cameras, then it's footage that they shot, so it becomes highly sensitive material. Right now, I think a police report was filed, and some people are being asked about what they know and things like that. But then the report went into George Lucas showing up on set, but we'll talk about that later, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about the footage being possibly stolen? Do you think this is an attempt, John, to sell this footage to an outlet, or do you think it's to just be like, leakers proud and just like get that up on Reddit or something, or 4chan?
Yeah, what's funny? I mean, you got to rule out selling, because if they'll track that and you're going to jail forever. So that you could probably rule out. It's possible that it could have been just, I know there's expensive equipment there. Let me just steal those cameras for my own personal desires. It could be someone who's trying to leak stuff or hurt Lucasfilm or hurt Lucasfilm and Star Wars. Lost my brain there for a minute. So it could be a lot of things.
I've heard of people stealing like baseball cards, and then they sell them to like pawn shops, and they don't even realize those baseball cards were like worth way more. So that's kind of funny that you say somebody just steal it for the camera.
Now, what I'm curious about is, because I look at stuff like Disney and Lucasfilm as having trackers on everything, and everything's sealed up like the Homeland Security, and like, but then like on the other hand, I'm like, what if they're just in some kind of bay and they're just laying on the table and like, there's our cameras, let's lock it up, and the security guard will do his laps at 3 a.m. and we'll be good to go. So I'm just curious how truly legit they are in terms of protecting this stuff. And most importantly, were hard drives and stuff like that stolen, as it's rumored to be possible? And the fact that the police are on top of it, I'm sure it's not like a random person saying like, I lost my kitty. Police are on top of it. It's Disney saying, you guys got to find this because this is no joke. Yeah. There's a lot of money at stake here. So while it sounds like a silly story, it's pretty big time. And like you were saying, I don't know if that's ever happened to a production like this of this magnitude. And I've never heard it happening to Star Wars before. So leave it to the first Star Wars TV show to be the one where something gets stolen.
Lacey, it seems like John might have some inside information. Do you think he was the one that snuck onto set and stole the camera?
No, because it's hard to get John to get away from his house at all because he has a son. So I highly doubt he's flying across the country to steal a camera.
That's a hell of an alibi I have.
Yeah. This is just so unfortunate because as someone that's worked in video production before, like, you could spend an entire day shooting, and if you lose a memory card or something goes wrong and you have an error, there is no worse feeling than being like, I've lost a full day's work. So to know that someone has taken your work, that's even worse. So I'm sorry to everybody that's involved in this. That really, really sucks.
Do we think that this type of recording, like, do we know what type of recording is being done for this show? Is it digital? Is it film? Do we know anything like that?
I would assume it's digital.
I would assume it's digital because it's Jon Favreau.
Right.
Okay,
that
so
makes sense for him.
So will, like, you guys do video stuff, and obviously you guys don't do it to the magnitude of Disney or whatever, but are cameras permanently connected to what they record, or their external flash drives or whatever that you pop in and pop out, or how does that usually go?
I mean, usually you take the card and you drop it into something and you take the stuff off the card like any normal camera.
Yeah, correct. I believe
it's
they're
like
probably working with
like
external hard drives, like to a degree that is like a specific for what kind of footage is being dumped onto that storage device.
Right.
You have to think that they didn't leave these external...
No, they were in a locked room. Yeah.
So you have to think that if stuff got stolen, they wouldn't have access to get to that stuff, the content. So it could just be the equipment that was...
It could just be in the equipment lockup, but you never know that something happens, someone gets distracted, they leave one hard drive in a bag, or they leave a card and camera by accident. Like, it happens all the time. So
yeah, and anytime, like, if I came to work and I heard my camera was stolen, the first thing, not the first thing you think of, but the first thing that might occur to you is like, well, what was on the memory card? Wait, was the memory card in the camera? I'm not sure yet. Like, we'll have to find and count all the memory cards that we have, and then, and then we can maybe start to piece together if there was or wasn't a device attached to it. But as of now, the only thing we know is that the camera's gone. Do you guys think there's any chance that this was just like, oh, it turns out it was like under this bag? Like, do you think there's
no way? If they called the cops, there's no way that it's just...
Yeah, they don't want that getting out.
Well,
I mean, I mean, kids go missing all the time, and then they find them, like, at home. It's just like, there is a period of where you say, well, we can't find this right now. No one's reporting it. And then, like, later it ends up being found. I don't know.
We're talking about tens of $1,000s worth of camera.
All right, guys.
Everything's accounted for. So I can only imagine that
every time I hear a story about somebody losing something, whether it's small or expensive, I go, hold on. Are we sure it was stolen? Like, just relax for a second. And I understand it's Disney, but just the story as far as, like, we believe it was stolen overnight. And it's like, I guess, I mean, that's always possible, but there's so many precautions Disney puts into this. Is there any chance that, like, a cameraman is just, like, fired today because he lost the camera and he doesn't know where, he doesn't remember where he put it or something stupid?
Yeah, but they probably have video footage of the person leaving with the camera.
Possibly, yeah. Could be.
They could. I mean, hopefully they do, right? I mean, why wouldn't you for something that's this important?
I'm telling you right now, Disney would not release this information unless it's gone missing. They don't want that press. Completely. There's tons of stuff that happened at Disney World that you don't even know
Did they release
about.
this information? Well, I guess they had to release it to the police.
Right, they wouldn't have filed
But I think it was like, we found out from a friend who happens to work on set. This was coming from theblast.com, and I looked up the writers of the article, and they were former TMZ employees, who may or may not have left on bad terms.
They could have known one of the cops who were involved in it. And the cop could have been like, you won't believe what happened.
Yeah.
But what I find a little strange about this is, granted, it's the first Star Wars television live-action production. Do they handle things differently for this scale of a production than they do a movie? Like, we obviously, there's been a lot of other leaks that is no surprise to anybody. Everyone has heard about these other photo leaks that are going on other blogs and stuff like that. And now you have this where stuff's being stolen from this set. It's like, it seems so loosey-goosey. Like, it's kind of wild to me that, the juggernaut of all franchises has so many leaking holes in it for a production of this scale on two different levels.
Well, I know we disagree on a fundamental level on this, John, but I'm going to bring up Apple again. How the heck does Apple ever have leaks? Like, that's like the largest tech company in the world. How do we see images of what the next iPhone is going to be
it's
months
the inside
before?
People.
Yeah, it just sometimes there's no way to avoid it. And the bigger a property gets, the more desired that leak becomes. Like the higher price that maybe somebody is willing to either risk in order to get, I know if I sell this to a website, or I know if I give it to the website, all the exposure, it's just, there's so much there. It almost becomes understandable that someone would like take that risk to be like, dude, there's a certain community of people I become a hero to if I can get this footage. So
right, and it's also that human fundamental feeling of wanting to know things over other people. Like everybody has, when you know something that no one knows, the first thing you do is like, oh my God, I have something to tell you. So
right.
People love that feeling.
Like Alden Ehrenreich's grandma.
Right? Yes.
Yeah. Everybody's so excited.
So the other thing I was thinking about with this is, does this, as this stuff keeps happening, which clearly I guess it is, and maybe this is better for another, deep dive, serious type of discussion that we do on the podcast sometimes on Thursdays. Does Lucasfilm need to reassess how they handle the release of their content so that they're in more control of it? They are a very tightened mystery box, tight ship, sealed ship, and then when stuff gets out that's beyond their control, then they're like, okay, we have to put out a press release.
Yeah.
This is what the Mandalorian's about. Maybe they should start doing their own little leaks, so people are like, oh, I don't really care anymore about the leaks,
Yeah, I mean, our friends over at Black Series Rebels always said that it was the guys who did the toy leaks and stuff, because if Apple would, or not Apple, I'm sorry, man, it's on my brain. If Lucasfilm would just release specific information, just little things, it would ease that tension for leaks. But when they become so secretive, that's what pushes people to be like, we got to know this stuff. Something I was going to say too about just like the leaks in general is, you're saying, is Lucasfilm worried about this stuff getting out there, or are they just kind of like being loose about where they're filming and stuff? And come to think of it, how many things have the fans really figured out and spoiled because of these leaks, like location leaks? Like, we're talking a lot about how we don't know, what planets these are from, or whatever, or Rian Johnson, there were things that were leaked on the internet all throughout his production. Mm-hmm. And he was saying, yeah, but they don't know. And of course we were all wrong. Because they have this idea in mind, and even if you give them that little bit of a nugget, fans are gonna go crazy and try to speculate on what it is. It's what we do, but how often are we right, and how often is Lucasfilm saying we need to close that, cut off that access because they're figuring it out? These Star Wars fans are too smart. They're piecing together all the right pieces, and it's spoiling our movies. But I don't know that's necessarily happening.
The fact that this has to go to the higher ups, because they're talking about launching this as their first big thing for Star Wars on this streaming service, and Bob Iger must be hearing about this. Like, people are breaking into the set, stealing equipment. Maybe it's internal, we don't know. Now that there's also leaked photos of the set, he's probably losing his mind. Like, what is wrong with you people? Seal that up. Take care of that. Yeah, probably like Darth Vader running around like the Death Star being vulnerable. Seal that up. Get that. Lock that down. Jesus.
Or it's Bob Iger.
Oh yeah, or it's Bob Iger.
He couldn't
wait. Yeah.
He's like, I got an Iger family reunion come up. I need a high-speed camera to capture the moments. So I'm gonna sneak in there and take it and get out of there.
We got Favreau in a white trench coat going, "What are you standing around for? Release the garrison!" Like screaming. Yeah.
I think we just live in a world where people like to steal stuff.
It's possible. Yeah.
And I think there's a good possibility that the person that took it knew what they were looking for, but I also think that there is a good possibility that the person just wanted expensive equipment.
Yep.
Which sucks.
I mean, Star Wars itself was based on stealing stuff anyway. We stole the Death Star plans.
All right, guys.
Maybe they wanted to be like this. Maybe they wanted to be like the Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's move on to the next story. We actually did some pretty good work last week talking about how we confirmed this location, this Jordan location, and now it looks like John Boyega got on his Instagram and threw up a story and just said some light comments about kind of what he was doing, and there was an image in the background, some location details that someone kind of pieced together, and sure enough, Big surprise. It's in Jordan. So he's in Jordan as well, on this desert planet. If you haven't read the story, go back and read it. We're going to speculate a little bit now what we know about the planet as it showed up in the photos. And then now, what does it mean that Finn is on that planet as well? What could that possibly mean? Lacey, I think you are probably the most solid in your understanding of what this could mean. You say, I'm jumping right to it.
No, don't jump to it.
Don't jump to it. All right, you say something. I'll let you jump to it.
Well, first of all, I'm kind of annoyed that my best friend John Boyega is partying without me. Very offended. I thought we were closer than that. So yeah, he put up an image of a mosque, and people figured out that it was in Jordan. Then he put up a video of them at a bar with loud music, and it says, "Before we go to war, we party," which everyone's like, obviously a Star War. Yeah, I honestly think he's going back to Jakku, guys. I said that last time, and now I'm even more sure of it, because there's no way you're not going to have him say that line, like, why are we going back to Jakku? Like, we're back here again. It's
right.
like the perfect opportunity to talk about that. God, I love John Boyega.
John Boyega was also the person who, on record, describing Episode 9, said it was going to be all-out war. So
right.
the association
AwesomeCon.
with going to war, all-out war.
At Lacey's show.
At my show.
Getting the quotes at the show.
If you go and look at his Instagram right now, his like pinned stories, he has AwesomeCon saved up there.
He smells so good.
Oh my gosh. Don't turn into that girl, Lacey.
He does. He does smell good. He's super polite too, and very, very knowledgeable.
Yeah. Next time I do a quote
about Star Wars
or an interview with Daisy Ridley, I'm going to say, she smells really good. And we'll see
I bet
how
she
that goes
does.
over.
Famous people smell good because they have the money to buy nice
it'll go
perfumes.
over exactly the same way it would if Lacey said it about John Boyega.
I'm sure that it probably would. Yeah. John, your speculation on what Finn would possibly be doing back on Tatooine.
So Finn is actually from Tatooine.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's where his family was that they took him from. They didn't. He didn't know that family, so it's just they're like, oh, he's from Tatooine. No,
wait, he was born there. He's gonna die there. You know.
Exactly. Full circle.
What are you guys talking about?
No, James just likes to
Craziness.
throw me curveballs so that I have to get to my real point and take longer to do so. He is going back to Jakku because the other options don't make sense. You know, like we were all speculating last week before he posted this, which planet we think it would be, whether it be a new planet, Tatooine, Jakku, or Jetta. And I think most of us kind of pointed to Jakku, just logically, and now it almost fortifies that because you have the running joke, like Lacey was saying, that would be a funny bit to bring back, but also there's just no reason for Finn to go to Jetta if the purpose of going to Jetta is to look for Kyber or something like that. Like Finn tried the lightsaber thing out, it didn't work out for him. He's not going looking for Kyber crystals.
What a letdown, by the way. Like that he wasn't a Jedi. Because when he first lit that lightsaber, I was like, oh my God. And then it was
I'll be honest with you, I kind of knew that they were going to do a little red herring thing going on there. It was just like
bait and switch.
You remember the trailer? They're like, Harrison Ford goes, a Jedi, and it shows him. I'm like, he's not a Jedi.
I know, but still, And
then a new planet, it's like, we need a fourth desert planet. No. So they're going back to Jakku. And I think that all but locks it up for me. But who knows?
All right, guys. I'm laying it down. Here it goes. All right.
I love Rogue One.
I like the idea of it being Tatooine. I think that could kind of be cool. I don't think Jetta's 100% ruled out because I know that Finn wouldn't need to go to Jetta. But maybe Finn and Poe and Rey together need to go to Jetta for some reason. So if we stick the three of them together, Jetta being a location that Rey needs to go to, then Poe and Finn go, then we're going to Jetta, That makes sense. Although except for the fact that Jetta's like destroyed or whatever. There's that too. But I don't think it's completely ruled out just because Finn wouldn't have any mission specifically in Jetta. Last thing is, I love what you say, Lacey, about going back to Jakku, it's like a perfect line. It ties the whole sequel trilogy back together. Jakku is more than just a desert planet. We know that from the other books. Not that they would bring that stuff in. It would be so funny
if he says that.
But
I'm gonna laugh.
They've brought in so much stuff that has to do with the Battle of Jakku and what the Sith have to do with that planet. And there's so many cool things that you could do on Jakku, and that really solidifies it for me. But I'm still sticking to my guns, and I'm playing the odds on this that it really is just another planet that we haven't seen yet.
See, that's
I know
that you say
that answer
playing
sucks.
the odds.
That answer
it doesn't
sucks.
suck. It doesn't suck. It does not suck.
It sucks because like nobody wants to hear that. It's not exciting. It's boring. It's the thing that is like, oh, really?
James,
but
hang on a second.
I think it's the most likely, realistically, odds-wise.
That's crazy.
I'm trying to win this non-existent contest.
Crazy talk. You know why? J.J. Abrams is not going to come back after getting flack for doing a Tatooine copy and be like, here's another desert planet, and this one's called blah, blah, 2. Like, no, sorry. He's not doing it again, man. We're going back to Jakku, dude.
I think we're going to Batu in the movie at some point.
I guessed that we may see Batu in this movie, but then I was like, nah, we're not going to.
I feel like we're going to end there.
You know, another one, too.
Ooh, maybe.
Another one too was Savarine is like a desert planet.
Yeah,
that also wasn't
Solo went to
in
both
that.
a snow planet and a desert planet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Another new desert planet, another new snow planet.
Yeah, but that's two. That's two snowy planets.
But that's the fourth desert planet. The one we kind of forgot that in the poll.
Tatooine,
yeah,
Jakku,
but we don't know that Savarine is all desert.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, but pretty much every planet in Star Wars is one climate, is it not? I don't think there are any planets with dual climates. We've talked about this on the show, haven't we?
I'm super pumped for the jungle planet, whatever that is, that we've seen photos of.
Mm-hmm.
I love jungles.
Of course, you could kind of consider, what's the planet at the end of Rogue One? No. Because there's kind of like, it's like paradise, sandy, tropical, but it's also kind of like jungly.
Scarif?
Yeah.
But that's more of a, I look at that as like an island.
I get you. It's islandy. Yeah.
I want like jungle.
There's definitely some scenes where you're like, oh, they're like in the jungle. But then it's like, nah, we're just like, right over there is like a beach. Yeah.
You mean like
how much of Scarif is left? Did they just do like a quick little like pew Death Star shot, or did they like go like?
No, the thing's destroyed. It's got a chunk.
The whole
missing.
thing.
Well, let's put it this way: the exact same Death Star fire, single fire or single
Killed
ignition
Alderaan.
fire or whatever it was that blew up Jetta. Is the same thing that hit Scarif.
But
so
did
vote
Tarkin do like the same like level of punch it on the Death Star that he did for Jetta?
Yes.
Or was he just like, I just want to hit Krennic in the face with the Death Star? That's all I want.
I actually think that if anything, it would be more, because on Jetta they were like the holy city is enough, and it ended up really tearing like the whole planet apart.
Yeah.
But on Scarif it was like, oh no, that's done. Like this whole area, everything that we've done on this planet, we need to wipe it so that they don't get the plans to the Death Star. So just like
they wanted to
you may
stop
fire
it before,
when ready,
yeah.
and it wasn't like an Alderaan blast, but it was like most likely more than what was on the unfortunate mining accident on Jetta.
You got to think like Tarkin finally seeing the full capacity blow up Alderaan. He must have been like trying to keep it cool, but just being like, holy
yeah. I've thought about that before. It's so funny you're bringing that up, because he blows up Jetta, he blows up Scarif, and then he's like, have we tested? Yeah, go ahead and do a full power thing. Like, this will be interesting. I'd like to see this. Just aim it right there at that one city, and we'll be sure we'll pretty much get it all wiped out. And then it literally just like evaporates, like boom. Like the original 77 was like immediate. It was like a balloon popping. Like, I love it. It's just, he's like, oh shoot.
Whoa. Yeah, he's like, wow.
He like turns to Leia and says, this has got to really suck for you.
Oh my God.
He was sweating in his slippers.
Oh my gosh. Well, do we have anything to add to this John Boyega story? Is he going to keep giving us hints on his social media?
I think he'll keep dropping hints. I mean, he posted
so?
pictures of him, hugging other cast members. If anyone's going to spoil it like Tom Holland spoiled Avengers, it's going to be John Boyega.
Well, yeah, because like the other main cast don't really have social accounts anyway, right? So
yeah, Adam has nothing. Daisy got rid of hers. Kelly got rid of hers.
Wait, Lacey, are you sure Adam Driver doesn't have one?
If he does, it's a secret account, and he's just...
Lacey checks every day.
No, I don't.
Yeah. He's posting pictures of himself like eating ice cream and stuff, and
someone posted a funny GIF,
so many fangirls like want to get in on that. Like, oh my god!
Someone posted a funny GIF though, and it was the guy from Ratatouille when he walks in and he sees all the rats in the kitchen. Did you see that GIF? And it was like, if Adam Driver ever looked at Twitter, it would be him walking in with just rats, like, looking up at him. No, he's too cool for Twitter and social media and whatever.
Yes, and the rest of us are not.
So, John, I think we are once again passing up on the Scoundrels Rundown this week.
Right, but people can follow us on Twitter at RBATSWNN because we are not cool.
Get that plug. Get it.
Yeah, so we're not going to be... The Falcon is going to be in the shop until Star Wars News decides to show its face.
It's funny, so I've been in the shop for about 2 months.
Yeah, Lacey's been in the shop for a while. I don't even know what that means. Are you talking about the Star Wars Newsnet show?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that and the Rundown are both in the shop until the news... Till we have enough news, James, where we can't even fit it into the Resistance Report, and I have to run it down for everybody.
Right, and we don't want to talk about stuff that's not news, so...
Yeah.
Is what it is.
So, that brings us to...
I do want to say goodwill on John Williams, though.
Oh, yes. Please get well soon.
I hope that, everything's okay by the time this episode airs, but I just wanted to throw that in there too, like him being hospitalized, and like you hear that and it's just like, oh.
Yeah, your stomach
absolutely
drops.
Suck. Yeah.
Did he do the episode 9 yet?
No,
probably not. Usually it's one of the later things.
Do you think he wrote it yet though?
I think he writes as they go along, and then he scores it at the end when it's finished, and he literally scores it with the movie, like the recording.
I wonder if they'd have John Powell take over if something was to happen.
Well, nothing's gonna happen.
The world is a sometimes crappy place in 2018. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we got cameras getting stolen. Anything's possible, John.
Like if I was in the hospital, it'd be like, okay, so 36-year-old guy's in the hospital. It's like, okay, whatever. But when you hear like an 86-year-old guy, you're like, oh, come on, Gosh. But yeah, like you're saying, I hope even by the time we're listening to this, we find out he's okay and he's back in the saddle with the conductor's wand or whatever you want to call it. So yes, goodwill to you, sir, Mr. John Williams, the lifeblood of Star Wars. We wish you the best. Now. It is time for all of your questions out there. Not all, but about 4 of them.
Every single question.
Yeah, we're going to answer every question. One day we'll do that, maybe. So it is Ask the Resistance time. So, Lacey, what are they asking us this week?
I've been wondering, what are midichlorians?
All right, guys, it's time for Ask the Resistance. You've got some Star Wars-y questions. We've got some Star Wars-y answers. So let's get into it. You guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Nah, I'm not ready. Hold on. Wait 5 minutes. First question.
I'll answer James's question. Just give me 10 minutes, and then I'll get to my point. It'll be just like a James Baney answer.
I don't think you can answer my question, John, because you don't read Star Wars comics.
You're supposed to pretend that you don't know what the question is yet, buddy.
So the first question is from Ben Thompson at Crystal of Truth. Hi, Ben. How's it going? His question is, if Maul can be cut in half and get new robot legs, can't Snoke do the same? I'm going to go the first. Ladies first. So first of all, Snoke sucks. Snoke sucks. Snow sucks too, but
also
Snow does suck.
Yeah.
But Snoke does suck. So Snoke could get robot legs if he was still alive, but I'm pretty sure he's dead. Sorry, Ben. It's pretty obvious he's dead from, him getting cut in half and then laying on the floor. And then they have that quick cut to him with his tongue hanging out of his mouth when Kylo Ren wakes up. I'm pretty sure that's Ryan being like, hey guys, he's dead. And, like, he does it multiple times. So, like, there's no, like, open. So, like, Darth Maul, you're like, oh, he fell down the shaft. He could be dead. And he's like, surprise, I'm back. No. Snoke is dead. Like, dead. So
Lacey,
no.
we're in the theater going like, but wait a minute. And then they're just like,
Yeah. Do you remember it? And the light flash. It's really funny because he's, like, on the floor. His tongue's out. And then, like, the light, like, kind of flickers, too. Oh, it's so good. Ryan Johnson's awesome. All right. So, thanks, Ben. But no. Next is Mike Sellers at Puck32Ellers. Puck32Ellers?
32Ellers? Yeah, I don't know. It's tricky.
Whatever.
Mike, you're
all right, Mike.
You have a tricky name.
Yeah, he said, I just watched the episode The Lawless in the Clone Wars again. Do they ever explain what Palpatine's other uses for Darth Maul were? James, what do you think?
Yeah, so this is always tricky because I can answer this question for just about anybody, but every time I'm on the like pulpit of like answering it definitively, I get really scared. I'm pretty confident that they have not explained what his other uses were. The closest you come to that is after those episodes aired, they were written, or the ideas were written for what they were going to do, and then the show got canceled. Now the Son of Dathomir comic was adapted from the original scripts or something along those lines. I just know that was the continuation of the story right after that, and the Son of Dathomir begins with Darth Maul being locked up and a bunch of Mandalorians and stuff come and rescue him and get him out, and then the story proceeds as is. Now, because he was rescued, we never really get to see what Sidious's plans for having him locked up were, unless, of course, I'm like forgetting something in that story that, he said, oh, I was planning on doing this with him. But I think is the only place where you could possibly find an answer as of now. So if you want, they reprinted that comic. You can get it online as well. It's only 4 issues, so go check it out. And get you a little bit of history of the Mandalorians before the live series starts. So do that.
Nice. The next question comes from Reed Van Dusen at JR Van Du. And he asks, or he or she asks, do you think Lando will acknowledge L3 in the Falcon in Episode 9? John, you love Solo. You love the Falcon. What do you think?
No, absolutely not. It would make no sense. He didn't mention it in Empire Strikes Back. He didn't mention it in Return of the Jedi. It would just make absolutely no sense for all of a sudden, because they went back and created this story about this droid becoming a GPS system in the Falcon. Now he's going to be like, oh, L3, I forgot about you for 30 years, but for some reason now I remember. Having an old man flashback. No.
But the Kasdans wrote it, though.
But the Kasdans did write it.
I'm not necessarily agreeing with you, John, but I hear your point.
Okay. Well, good thing again, it's my question.
No, I know.
I'm going to answer it. Yeah. Whether the Kasdans wrote it or not doesn't matter. I mean, just chronologically, then why wouldn't he have talked about it in 5 or 6 at all?
It's true.
And now all of a sudden he's going to. Like, it really doesn't make any sense. And it's that thing that my biggest pet peeve on Star Wars is retconning. And I thought L3 was a misfire, and not a fan. And that would really bug the crap out of me, to be honest with you. So I'm going to say no, but if they did it, it wouldn't necessarily shock me, because they're trying to do this whole thing to make it seem like it's all tied in and it was all planned. But how about no, Scott?
I wonder if he would say something like she, and then they would let people like read into that however you want.
Or like
maybe.
hit the seat and say, hey, girl, or something. Yeah.
Yeah, something
they
that's
already
like both.
They already do that in Return of the Jedi. She's the fastest ship in the fleet, so
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, last question comes from Scotty J. Rowe. Hey, Scotty, at the Scott J. Rowe.
Scott. What's up, Scott?
And he asks, actually, you know what? I'm asking, Scott, how is your centerpiece? Does it spray fog and stuff?
Fog?
Did he fog up that house?
Yeah. I haven't really seen it. I mean, he showed us the box. I don't think he took it out of the box.
He hasn't used it in a while. Video. His memory's a little foggy.
Oh.
We need an updated video, Scott, on where you put the centerpiece. Is it still in pieces, or it's still in one piece? And where is it at? Give us an updated fog up that house demonstration. Yeah.
All right, and he asks, what is your favorite Star Wars design aesthetic? For example, the very gray, well-lit, and clean look of the Death Star's interior, or Canto Bight's regal look. Think about places and planets that made you feel a certain way. Oh, we're going to answer this somewhat quickly, because I know it's going to take a couple sentences. I'm going to start with John. John, what is your favorite Star Wars design aesthetic?
Without question, the carbonite chamber room in The Empire Strikes Back, with the stairs with the orange glow coming through them. Just how that whole set was built and how they made it work throughout all the scenes in that movie. For some reason, that glow is just burned in my brain as a shining part of Empire and the saga. So whoever put that set design and set pieces together, it was absolutely brilliant. Highlighted with the cherry on the sundae of Vader's silhouette as Luke walks in and the music cuts out and he says, "You're not a Jedi yet." That is the one when I think of Star Wars, and if I can get like a painting of something, it would be that with those orange colors coming through that staircase and Vader's silhouette at the top. So without a doubt, that one right there, Scott.
James, what do you think? What's your favorite set or planet or aesthetic look?
Yeah, I guess I didn't really think of it like as a set specifically. We had a question a while ago that was like, what makes something Star Wars? And I always said it was like the setting. Just it's a weird way to put it. Like the way things are built, and I prefer them to be kind of run down, which was supposed to kind of be the aesthetic of the original trilogy altogether.
Like Mos Eisley.
Well, not even so much that. Like, look at the X-Wings themselves. Like, they weren't clean ships. They had oil stains and blackened spots, and they looked like they were kind of rusty. And I think there's supposed to be this aesthetic of like everything's kind of run down a little bit. And I think that's what really kind of rings true about Star Wars to me. While I still love a lot of the things of the prequels and Canto Bight and Snoke's throne room and stuff like that, I think what really shines in my eyes is like Maz's cantina and the inside of the Rebel base on Yavin 4, that kind of stuff. It just looks like kind of run down and beat up just a little bit, but it still
as George
works.
Lucas put it.
Yeah, that's a good. Lived in. Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, the Falcon, just in general, like when you just look at the insides, like there's something about like it's mechanical, it runs, but it looks like it's been around for a while. I don't know. There's something about that aesthetic that always just really screams Star Wars to me. And when other people do it, it feels like Star Wars.
Yeah, absolutely. I love when one of my favorite shots in The Force Awakens is that shot where the camera goes past Rey, Finn, and Han Solo and goes through Maz's cantina. I love that shot, and I love the shot where Kylo Ren walks through the doorway that's still standing even though the rest of the landscape is all crumbled. I love those shots. Those are my favorite shots. Those sweeping like jib shots or steady cam shots. Those are amazing. Aesthetic, I gotta say, Snoke's throne room just like is so awesome to me. From the bright colors, the contrast from the red to the black, the way the floor is so reflecting. Like, it just makes me feel like, ugh, Snoke is the worst. Like, I just feel that when I see it because it's so like, there's something about it that like when you see Hux or Kylo or Rey walking in there, you're like, oh, don't go in there, that looks really bad, because it's like so red and so dark, and then that whole fight scene's amazing in the way that it just looks.
But Lacey, get us like a disco ball, some cool music, and some roller skates, and we'll turn that into like this awesome roller skate disco room. I would be
so. The funny thing is that scene where you see Kylo Ren walk in, all I kept thinking is like, if that was me, I'd trip so fast. Like, that floor is like a little slippery.
Yeah.
I'd be like, whoop. And then, like, how do you explain that? You're like, and, like, you're, like, trying to act tough, but you can't because you've fallen, and you're just like, oh, God.
It's interesting how similar Snoke's throne room and Palpatine's throne room are the same, but then at the same time, they're, like, completely different, where one feels like, clean and polished, and the other one feels, like, worn down and dirty.
Yeah, I think the Emperor's, to me, felt like it wasn't his main place. It was kind of just like a satellite location, and that's where they put him. They're like, oh, put him in meeting room 3. Like, you know, it was just like a side thing with a big window, whereas Snoke's, like, when you walk into Snoke's, it's like, okay, this is Snoke's room. It's got Snoke's chair.
Oh,
you know,
weird.
Snoke wanted red. He wants those clean floors. Like, the way everybody's standing, he chose this. Like, it just seems very more planned than the Emperor. I feel like the Emperor, they were like, are we prepared for his arrival? Yes, everything's set. I feel like it was like an afterthought.
That's weird. I never took it that way. I always thought of that was specifically like a room designed for him.
Yeah, the only thing I noticed about that room that's designed for him is that weird chair.
I think that's probably part of it. Is when you think of that, you think of it as the throne room, and like the side office B doesn't become the throne room. I guess it does. Any plane the president's on becomes Air Force One, so maybe any room Palpatine's
one of
in
his
becomes
work offices, but knowing the Emperor, he's like, well, they already blew up one of these, so this isn't going to be my permanent quarters.
Right.
I'm still going to be back on Coruscant.
It's also like 3/4 built too, so it's like maybe they just haven't got to his official room
They
yet,
built his room first and then built around his room.
I just feel like Snoke's is like
room.
so complete when you go into it. Like, that ship is his ship. And everything is to his specifications.
And I like how the curtains, like, it was like pretty much just windows, right? You could see
it was a big window that had a red curtain around it.
Yeah, I think
for privacy's
that to me,
sake,
that to me thinks of
close
like
the
Snoke
curtains.
liked the niceties, like that's why they said he had the slippers
The
and
gold,
the robes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He liked those niceties, which was different from Palpatine, where it's like that stuff didn't matter to him. You know?
Snoke was more like Xerxes.
Yeah, yeah.
He's the worst. Anyway, Scotty, you're the best. And thank you for that question. So if you guys want to be on the show, make sure to send your questions to us on Twitter at RBATSWNN using hashtag AskTheResistance. We'll answer your questions on the show, maybe, hopefully. So yeah, they could be about anything in the Star Wars universe. So send them our way. Back to you, John.
All right. Thanks, Lacey. And thank you, yes, for all those questions. Keep those coming. We really do appreciate it. One of our favorite segments on the show where we get to interact with you guys. So before we close up the base here, thank you so much for listening and being a part of the Resistance. And if you haven't yet, make sure you are subscribed to us. Now, you can do that on iTunes, on your podcast app, on SoundCloud, on YouTube, and also Spotify, which is our latest little venture out to you guys. Head to StarWarsNewsNet.com for all of your latest news, reviews, editorials, information, and more. tpublic.com/user/Resistance Broadcast. You can find all of our t-shirts there. We have about 40 designs or so. If you're not a t-shirt person, it's getting a little chilly out, you can get a hoodie. You can get a mug for your hot cocoa or your coffee. You can get some stickers, a bunch of stuff on there, and they have sales every couple of weeks where you get some good deals on a bunch of stuff and all that kind of goodness. I think that covers all of those plugs, so let's plug ourselves here. You guys can find me, John Hoey, on Twitter at Johnny Hoey, and writing and editing over at Star Wars News Net. James Bainey, how about you, sir?
Well, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Meyer Trunks, but man, I really want some hot chocolate now.
Oh, with marshmallows? You a marshmallow guy?
To be honest, I like the Swiss Miss, like super mini, like tiny marshmallows. That's really my jam. Like,
you can buy those
the little
now.
marshmallows. You can buy like
you can buy a container of just the mini marshmallows.
Not mini, like micro.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
The little hard ones that come in the little packets, they sell them in a container now.
Oh, man. Things have changed, guys. Things have changed.
Lacey, where are you at?
People can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Lacey Gillerin. I'm going to start posting photos and videos more on Instagram, so if you want to follow me there. To honest. Instagram's a little bit more personal, so I will be posting more stuff about me than just Star Wars. So if you want a more personal look, yeah, I know, unsubscribe, whatever, of me, then follow me there. If you want to just keep listening to me talk about Star Wars and retweeting weird things, then follow me on Twitter. That's it.
Excellent explanations, everybody.
Yay.
Fantastic. Guys, thank you again so much for listening. We will be back on Thursday where we are going to change things up a little bit. We have a new game that we're going to play on the show that we want you guys to play along with us, and it has to do with quotes, and it's called Who Are You?
Who are you? I'm no one.
Ray said that. 2 points to me.
All right, we're getting warmed up already.
2 points to Gryffindor.
So that doesn't sound right. So as we're practicing
Slytherin
here, you guys practice out there, and we'll see you on Thursday with another episode of the Resistance Broadcast. We'll see you around, kids. And that's a Luke Skywalker quote.